I still remember the exact tone in my sister's voice when she said it. Light. Almost bored. Like she was commenting on the weather. Camila, your kids just aren't important enough for my daughter's birthday. The words didn't hit all at once. They seeped in slowly, like cold water filling my lungs. I was standing in my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, the smell of burnt toast lingering because I'd forgotten it in the toaster while juggling school lunches. Mateo was tugging at my sleeve, Sophia was crying because she couldn't find her shoes, and there I was, being calmly informed that my children didn't matter. I asked her to repeat herself. I think part of me believed I'd misheard. She sighed. You know what I mean. I have limited space. This party is elevated. Important people. Donors. Parents from the academy. Your kids wouldn't fit the vibe. The vibe. I looked at my children, my whole world, reflected in the stainless steel fridge, crumbs on their cheeks, trust in their eyes. And something inside me cracked so quietly I don't think anyone but me heard it. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I said, okay, and hung up. That was the moment my sister made the biggest mistake of her life. Growing up, Lucia had always been the golden one. Perfect grades. Perfect smile. Married rich. She lived in a house with white walls and no fingerprints, raised a daughter who wore dresses that cost more than my monthly rent. Meanwhile, I was the resilient one. The single mom. The one people praised for surviving instead of succeeding. Lucia loved that imbalance. She fed on it. Her daughter's birthday party was everywhere. Social media teasers, curated invites, whispered excitement. It was being held at a private garden venue overlooking the city, the kind of place where the air smells like money and fresh-cut roses. And I knew something else too. Lucia was running for president of the school's elite parent board. Image was everything. So I waited. The night before the party, Mateo asked me why Aunt Lucia didn't want them there. I told him the truth, because I refused to teach my children to shrink themselves for anyone. Some people confuse importance with power, I said. But power doesn't last. He nodded like he understood more than he should. The next morning, I posted a photo. It was an old one. Taken years ago, before Lucia's money, before her curated life. The three of us sitting on a cracked sidewalk, sharing a slice of cake from a grocery store. Her arm around my shoulders. My kids on her lap. The caption was simple. Family used to mean everyone mattered. Sad how success can make people forget. I tagged her. I didn't expect what came next. Within minutes, comments poured in. Old friends. Relatives. Parents from the academy. Someone asked why my kids weren't invited. Someone else mentioned how odd it was to exclude family. Another commented, "Isn't inclusivity part of the board's mission?" Lucia called me screaming. "Take it down," she hissed. "You're humiliating me." I listened. I let her panic spill out. Then I said softly, "You said my kids weren't important. I'm just reminding people who you used to be." She hung up. The party went on as planned, but it wasn't what she imagined. Whispers followed her. Smiles were tight. Several board members didn't show. One donor left early. Her daughter cried because everyone looked mad at mommy. By Monday, Lucia received an email. Her application for the board had been denied. Not officially, of course. Just a polite message about values misalignment and concerns regarding character. She came to my apartment that night. No makeup. Eyes red. Pride shattered. "You ruined me," she said. I looked at her, really looked. And I felt nothing but clarity. "No," I replied. "You did that when you decided my children were disposable." She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. For the first time in her life, she had nothing. The real twist came weeks later. The academy reached out to me. They'd seen the post. Heard the conversations. They were starting a new parent advisory group focused on inclusion and community outreach. Someone had suggested my name. A single mother. Honest. Real. I accepted. The first meeting, I brought my kids. They sat beside me, feet swinging, laughing softly. No one asked them to leave. No one questioned their importance. Lucia was there too. Not as a leader. Not as an icon. Just another parent. She wouldn't meet my eyes. And as I held my children close, Surrounded by people who saw their worth without conditions, I finally understood something my sister never did. Revenge isn't always destruction. Sometimes it's watching someone lose the throne they built by stepping on the people who loved them most. I still remember the exact tone in my sister's voice when she said it. Not sharp. Not angry. Just casually cruel. Camila, your kids just aren't important enough for my daughter's birthday. The words hovered in the air between us, weightless at first, like they didn't know where to land. I stood barefoot on my kitchen tile, phone pressed to my ear, the low hum of the refrigerator filling the silence. Mateo was at the table coloring dinosaurs. Sophia was whining because the zipper on her jacket was stuck, and I was holding a piece of toast that had gone cold in my hand. I laughed. A reflex. The kind you make when your brain hasn't caught up to the damage yet. I'm sorry, what? I asked. Lucia exhaled dramatically, like I was exhausting her. Camila, this party is very specific. It's not a children's free-for-all. There's a guest list. Families from the academy. People who matter. I swallowed. They're your niece and nephew. Yes, but... She paused, lowering her voice. Let's be honest. They don't add anything. That's when it hit. Not like a punch. Like a slow, sinking realization that the person on the other end of the line wasn't my sister anymore. She was someone else. Someone who could reduce my children to background noise in her life. I looked at Mateo, tongue poking out in concentration. At Sophia, cheeks flushed, eyes wide and trusting. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Okay, I said quietly. That's all. Lucia asked, surprised. That's all. I hung up before she could hear my voice break. Growing up, Lucia had always been ahead of me. Digit. Smarter. Louder. And here's the part Lucia never saw coming. 2 months after the party, after the whispers died down and her perfect life started showing cracks, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it. Single moms learn quickly which calls matter. Is this Camila? A woman asked. She introduced herself as the director of community relations for the academy. She told me they'd been doing a quiet internal review. Parents had raised concerns, not just about Lucia, but about a culture of exclusion they'd ignored for too long. My post hadn't started it, she said. It had confirmed it. We want someone real, she said. Someone who understands what it means to be overlooked. Someone who will fight for every child. I thought of my sister's voice. They don't add anything. I accept it. The announcement went out the following week. My name. My photo. Mateo and Sophia standing beside me, smiling like they finally belonged somewhere that saw them. Lucia found out the same way everyone else did. She showed up at my door that night, eyes hollow, hair pulled back like she didn't have the energy to care anymore. She didn't yell this time. She didn't posture. She whispered, "You planned this." I shook my head. No. I survived you. She looked past me, at my kids doing homework on the couch, laughing softly. I watched it register, really register, for the first time. What she'd thrown away. What she'd decided wasn't important enough. I just wanted more, she said. And I just wanted my kids to matter, I replied. She left without another word. Now here's the truth most people don't talk about. Revenge doesn't always look like screaming or destruction or watching someone burn in public. Sometimes it looks like outgrowing the person who tried to make you feel small. Sometimes justice is living so fully, so unapologetically, that the people who dismissed you are forced to watch from the sidelines. Lucia still attends school events. She sits in the back now. And every time I stand up to speak, every time my children's voices are included, every time another kid like mine is given space, I feel it. The quiet, irreversible consequence of her words. She said my kids weren't important. The world proved her wrong.